All right, well, you've outlined some specific foods in the paper that I referred to earlier. The first one being vegetables. Now, vegetables, you noted that people who eat a lot of vegetables had, I just want to get the term right. Oh, they were cruciferous vegetables. How does that how does that translate to reducing breast cancer in women?
I think vegetables in general are healthy foodstuffs, and we should actually eat more of those. This is part one. Part two, cruciferous vegetables are high in antioxidants, and this actually in general has an influence in as much as it detoxifies certain toxic chemicals that then can lead in a very broad way to the increase in cancer. And it's not only breast cancer, it's also, for example, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and similar.
All right, so eat your vegetables, what your parents always tell you when you're younger.
You must have your greens every day, whether you like it or not. And the Kentucky and the Mickey D's is not very healthy.
No, I think we all know that. Now, I thought meat was quite interesting because it seemed to not have a defined answer whether it was helpful towards reducing the risk to breast cancer or not. What's your stance on meat?
My stance on meat is that we actually are eating much more meat than we actually should be eating, and much more protein in that. A fully grown adult needs about 70 to 100 grams of protein per day, and we're getting much more than that. And the excess in meat that you take in has a detrimental effect in terms of, number one, the caloric intake, which then is transferred in the body to fat.
Right.
And also it has metabolites that need to be detoxified by liver and kidneys, and this also contributes. So in my opinion, and we know that for sure, for prostate cancer, even though that's not my area of expertise, in meat eaters, prostate cancer is much more common than in people who have a lower intake.
So we do need to eat less meat. I mean, 70 to 100 grams, I think that's a lot less than what the majority of people are taking in.
Yes, well, go to any restaurant in downtown and ask for a steak, and they start at 150 grams if you're lucky, but most of them are 250 for the ladies' steak and 350s for the men's steak.
Jeez. All right, and the other food I wanted to touch on was nuts. How do nuts relate?
Once again, nuts are virtually pure fat. So it's predominantly the caloric intake. Nuts contain some minerals that are actually quite important, and some nuts contain some proteins too, but generally the main detrimental factor here is the caloric intake again.